Hi everyone, Gig Coach Jake here, your go-to for gig economy news, tips, and tricks. Now today, I want to talk about the pay decreases across the board on these delivery apps. No, I'm not going to sit here and complain and whine and cry about it. What I want to do is help you all develop a strategy and teach you how to get around it so you can still make the money that you need to make. Now, I've started a movement. Hashtag LowPayNoWay. So anytime you post or anything, make sure to throw that hashtag in there. This is going to be an ongoing movement. What a lot of people are doing with these pay decreases is wanting to go on strike. That's not going to work. What they saw is the Uber Lyft recent strike that created a lot of, interest and movement on that as far as that goes. It's not going to work. Postmates did their whole campaign recently. You need an ongoing movement. We need to make better choices. This is one of the reasons why I try to educate everyone on how to make smarter choices. The reason being is because that then makes you a true independent contractor. When we work as true independent contractors, these companies no longer have the leverage to be able to manipulate and get one over on us. For example, tell us we're taking a pay cut and we just have to accept it. Now, what does that mean with the hashtag LowPayNoWay? This is going to force fair pay. And you're like, how? We have to cherry pick. So those that are premier drivers or those that like to keep your ratings high, I totally understand. The thing is, a lot of us come from a W-2 background. We've been employees. We're totally used to fixating on dollar per hour. We're not used to being business owners and having all the decisions that we have as an independent contractor. With that being said, these companies, they know that and they take full advantage. When we make smarter choices like cherry picking, that forces these companies to have to raise the bar and pay us more. For example, GrubHub. GrubHub's having to add money as much as $10 on these offers they're sitting for 1 hour to get them delivered. Another example is Postmates, DoorDash, and Uber Eats. They run these promos, right? Uber Eats has the boost. That's where you make the most money when it comes to Uber Eats. Sometimes they have the different merchants. I believe it was PF Chang's. When you have that extra money on those, take full advantage, lay off some of those other apps, and take advantage of those promos. When you do a bunch of deliveries for Postmates at $3 or $4 before, and you're not giving any tips, you're essentially enabling them to keep doing that and not send you a promo. Have you noticed that when you don't deliver for an app for a while, all of a sudden you start getting emails saying, hey, come give 10 deliveries, we'll give you 110 bucks. Some of you are like, yeah. Uber Eats. You don't do Uber Eats deliveries for a while. All of a sudden you get promos for Boost, right? DoorDash. When there's not enough drivers logging on or accepting offers, what do they have to do? Peak pay, driver referral bonuses. Exactly. You see where I'm going with this? Now, in my Facebook groups, we're sharing a lot of information. I have an Arizona only one, so please only jump in and join that one if you're in Arizona. And then I have a global group. I have a person from Canada. Eventually, we'll have people from Mexico and hopefully UK as well as the US in that group. Again, sharing a lot of valuable information. In the description below is the link for both of those groups. Make sure you go on there. You have to submit proof that you are an active driver. I want to see the map with your location and you actually in it and the date today. And I also need to see the name that matches the Facebook profile. Anyhow, moving on. These apps that we can really attack and address, GrubHub, DoorDash, Postmates, and Uber Eats. They're the biggest. Think about it. Especially when it comes to Uber Eats, DoorDash, and GrubHub. We need a multi-app. Do not be at the mercy of one app. Why? Perfect example is yesterday. GrubHub was a little bit slow. I might have then accepted a lower offer to keep moving and keep busy. Instead, I had turned on DoorDash and was able to filter through a few offers and got a $12 something payout on a real quick. It was like 3 or 4 miles for 3 items. $30 of food. 12 bucks. Easy. And then it gave me time to filter through and get a good GrubHub offer that made sense that I was actually going to pick up soon after dropping that one off. Able to stay really efficient, make a really good amount of money for lunch yesterday when normally I wouldn't if I would have just run the one app. On top of that, when we're accepting and we start lowering our bar, these companies then know that they can take advantage and keep lowering the rates. Some of you didn't notice, but in the recent email that GrubHub sent when they made that pay model change, and even before that, when they changed the app, they said there was some wording in there, basically said that when you go on and you toggle available, you're accepting new terms. This is something Uber and Lyft have done for a long time to force their drivers. They basically, driver want to go into work. They have to accept the terms to be able to log on and work. Think about that. Psychologically, that's like, oh, crap. They did the same thing recently with the drivers trying to get them to sign the petition to go against that Bill AB5. Very tricky. Psychologically, you're going on, you're planning to work, you have to make money to pay bills. Maybe it's to get dinner on the table, whatever it may be. Those situations force drivers into accepting when they normally want terms that they normally wouldn't. GrubHub, yes. So you best believe with the new pay model, you cannot see time. There is no paid distance. We cannot track that. Over time, they can slowly decrease that and fly under the radar. We would never know. Only those that are very good at math and track everything would know that. That is a very small percentage. And these companies know. So back to how we can affect GrubHub, adding $5 to $10 bonuses. Make sure that if you get a phone call, you get some type of recording or in writing. I don't care if it's in writing in the chat. I like to use the chat instead of the call because I can have it in writing and I can screenshot. So if they say, hey, I'm going to offer you an extra $5 or $10 if you complete this delivery. For examples, I had one recently where they wanted me to go back to the merchant. The merchant said it was already delivered, already been picked up, delivery is in progress. I leave, I'm halfway home. I get the phone call right. They asked me if I can go back. I said, no, I'm halfway home. Okay, fine, go on about your way. They scare a lot of people into going back and picking this food up when you've already completed your end. Don't do it. Work smarter and force these companies to give it to you in writing or proof that they're going to pay you more. Other markets for GrubHub, they have higher payouts. So they have, you know, the lowest is like $8 or $10 for some of them. The reason being is because drivers in the markets are not accepting crap and they're testing different things to figure out what can we do to get these drivers to accept. Another thing they're doing is they're adding money when somebody rejects on GrubHub and DoorDash. I know those for sure. If it doesn't get accepted by a certain point of time or enough people reject or reassign, it's coming back to somebody with a little bit more money. For example, $2 on GrubHub the first time. They'll send it back. They'll add another $2. It'll be $4 and a third time. This was select markets. I have not seen that yet, but a perfect example of our choices forcing their hand, right? Look at Facebook and all the turmoil with all the Premier drivers freaking out. They're seeing all these $3 payouts. I saw an additional offer yesterday for $2.36. We can get upset all we want, but we're the ones taking deliveries. So think about that. If you're a Premier driver and you're accepting everything, power of choice, you're an independent contractor, your actions have brought that on. Now I'll get to everybody's questions, comments in a little bit. Please try to make them specific to this topic. What different scenarios? Now, what I have is a great formula to use. This was given to me by Entre Courier, Ron, so make sure you go check him out. I'll get that ad in the description a little bit later. The link to his blog. He's a blogger and a fellow gig worker. Amazing write-ups and views. Treats this business, this industry like a business as you should. So those that have the employee mindset, we just need to change that and get you thinking like an independent contractor and a business owner. Now, what you can do for those that are new is you can map common distances. Distance is going to be one of the big things that we need to track that you aren't used to from coming from an employee mindset, right? It's usually just hourly. You're not used to using your vehicle and having to pay extra in taxes. Very important that we track dollar per mile as well as dollar per hour. That's going to help us determine whether we are profitable or not. So the IRS, you have the standard mileage deduction of 58 cents per mile this year. It went up. Essentially, they say that's what it's costs to use your vehicle for work. Now, anything you're making above that would be your profits. If you're making $1 per mile, now this is overall miles, then you're 42 cent per mile profit. How we track that? You're wondering like, that's tough. Again, you can map common distances if you do not know your market really well for reference points. You can get an idea. So when that map pops up and you know certain street to certain street or this landmark to this landmark is so many miles and takes so many minutes. And then you have to be aware of how much longer is going to be in traffic. The other thing you can do is jump onto Google Maps before you accept. If you're not driving, of course. We want to be safe. You have enough time that you can pull over and check those things out. Or if you do accept, pull over, double check all the details before you proceed, right? Make sure that the distance is not further than you wanted. They will zoom these maps in and out to trick you visually. Very tricky, these companies are. So make sure on DoorDash, you can check if you're not using a widget and you have Android, go in the settings, enable that widget. That is your crystal ball. You'll be able to see what the bill total is to give you an idea of what to accept and reject. If you've accepted and you don't have the widget, say you're on iPhone, just go in there and look at the bill total. If it's less than $50, there's a good chance that it's not going to pay out higher than what the offer already says. Now, I'm not going to get into too much detail on the different specific ones. I'm going to have a series of videos breaking it down in great detail for GrubHub, DoorDash, Postmates, and Uber Eats. So look for those coming this next week. The other thing that we can do to track mileage, now that we have reference points for mileage and time, you need to use your Stride app or any type of app. Once you accept that offer, start the trip. That's going to give you an idea of not only how long it takes on average for you to wait at certain places, that then lets you know, hey, I have time. I got an offer for California Pizza Kitchen, for example, on GrubHub. I know I got 25, 30 minutes to go run a DoorDash comfortably and still be able to get to that GrubHub. That's how we can start to increase our margins and be selective and pickier, right? People are like, well, I got to keep moving. I got to keep the wheels moving. I got to make money. Yes, but if you're driving 10 miles to go pick up an offer in 20 minutes or 15 minutes, in 5 more minutes, you probably most likely could have gotten a better offer that was closer, that paid out just as much or more. And I know that for a fact in my market. I've tested out a lot of times. The great way, and again, provided by Entree Courier Ron, I don't know if this is his. I'm calling it the 30, 40, 50 rule until anybody else lets me know otherwise that made it or created it. It is essentially 30 cents, 40 cents, and 50 cents by the minute. So if you need to make $18 per hour, for example, you have to be making 30 cents per minute. For example, you know that an estimate, the offer is going to take you about 20 minutes. You average 3 an hour with this merchant. 20 minutes, you need to make 18 an hour. Obviously, right, it's 3 deliveries, $6. That's pretty easy. Now, if we're using this equation, the 30, 40, 50, you have your 60 minutes by the 30, $18. Right? So just back to that. The 20 minutes times the 30 cents where you get the $6 offer. Now, I really want to use this $6 minimum as a baseline. Yes, it will be up and down based on what your demands are, what your needs and goals. We all have different situations. We do this for different reasons. You might have more bills. You might have a car payment, yada, yada, yada. You might live in California where bills are outrageous. Your cost of living is a lot higher. So you have to take those things into consideration where you fall. For 24 an hour, you would be at the 40 cents per mile. That's where you're going to calculate. So for that same 20-minute trip, right? 40 times 60 or the 20, $8. $8 minimum. Just take the 4 times the 2, $8 minimum. I know some of you are like, doing math, you're like, you're making this too crazy, too complicated. Keep it simple, right? Just like with running multiple apps. Run one, open up another one. If it's not so busy, you can open up a third or fourth if you can handle it. Thinking about it like fishing. Some of you are like, I don't fish. I don't fish either. We're going to use this analogy, though. You have one fishing line in. The probability of catching a fish is so high, correct? You cast another line. Maybe it has a different type of bait. So we'll say that different bait being the different app, right? You have your different app, your different gig app. You got GrubHub in, now you got DoorDash. Let's see which one's going to bite, which customer. Now your probability has gone up. You throw in a third one, right? You throw in Postmates. Yes, this can get crazy when you have 3, unless it's really slow. So like those real downtimes in between lunch and dinner, you want to run more apps. You're not going to be getting as many pings or offers, so it will not be overwhelming. When it gets busy, just take one of those polls, reel it in, set it aside. Stick to what you're comfortable with. Find out the 2 that work best for you. Now, what I found is that GrubHub and DoorDash are a great combination. Why? You get all the information for pickup and drop off from the get-go. You also know how much you're going to make guaranteed. Yes, on DoorDash, it's a minimum guaranteed amount, correct? But you have a lot of information to be able to set yourself up for success and be very efficient. We know that DoorDash, they're a lot more efficient. They're quicker, so we can get those done pretty fast. While GrubHub, we incur a lot of wait time. Again, why they're a great combination. Longer wait times, but bigger offers. Faster, efficient, smaller offers. You can find bigger ones. Even those bigger ones are quicker. Combine the 2. And it could be Postmates for you. It could be Uber Eats. Again, I'm going to break these down in great detail, app by app, throughout the week in a series. Now back to that 30, 40, 50 rule. Now using that $6 minimum offer, now if you're in a market where you get 2 deliveries on average, that's mine, right? That $6, that just doesn't factor in where it's $6, right? You're 30 cents a minute, or you're $6 by 3. Now, if you're getting 2 deliveries an hour, then we're back to that 30-cent rule. If it's going to take 20 minutes, you might have one that takes 40 minutes. So we use that example. You have a delivery, it's going to take you 20 minutes. $6 minimum, you're good. You need to make your 18. Then you have one that you know is going to take 40 minutes. You need to raise that minimum, right? What do? 4 times 3, 12, $12 offer. Keep it simple. So don't worry about the decimal points, the zeros, right? You got your 40, 50, your 30, 40, 50. It's the 3, the 4, the 5 by the minutes. 20, 30, 40, 50. Just use the first number. Again, keeping it simple. So back to that 40-minute offer. You need to make 18 an hour, your 30-cent rule. That's $12. Once you've accepted a 6, that next one better be at least $12 for you to make your $8. Or it better be another 6 that's going to take 20 minutes. Make sense? To give you an idea, there's these offers that are really big that are losing offers that are going to take us an hour. For example, an $18 offer that's going to take you an hour when you need to make 24 an hour. How do you know that? Experience. Track. The more often that you start and stop that Stride app and collect a little bit of information, over time, you're going to just automatically have patterns and know when that offer comes, you're like, oh, hell no, that take forever. Or you're going to be like, oh, boom, yeah, that's my go-to. They're quick, 15 minutes, 10 minutes. You're going to find out which spots to capitalize on and which ones to avoid, right? You have to track and keep. If you're just doing it to do it, it's all chance. Anyhow, I hope that 30, 40, 50 didn't blow your mind. And again, keep it simple. Drop the 0, forget the decimal point, drop the 0 on the minutes. It's however many minutes, a single digit, and either you're 30, 40, or 50. The first digit in that times that, that's the dollar amount that you need to make for that offer. If you're still lost, drop in the comments. Maybe we can have a little chat afterwards. I can help you figure that out. Again, very important that we're not only tracking time, but distance too. Minimum should be $1 per mile. And that's overall, not just for the trip. So when DoorDash comes through and it says 7 miles overall, a lot of times we have deadhead miles. It may have been miles before that where you're driving and waiting to get a ping. It might have been after that. You need to factor those miles in too. Amazon offers $7 minimum per delivery for a reason. And $18 an hour minimum guaranteed. That's where we should be as gig workers. Think about that. If you're making $18 an hour, how many of you could survive on that and be sustainable? I couldn't. I would have to go back to doing other work. It does not make sense for me. I need to be in the $24 to $30 range. So I'm on the 40 to 50 rule. Again, based on my situation, my goals, and my needs. Everyone's different. So you need to find out where you fall in. Is 18 an hour good for you? Awesome. You need to be using the 30 rule. And then maybe the 40 to kind of shoot for, right? You're going to use the 30. That's your bare minimum. And your 40 is your goal. You need to make more. You're using a 40 and then up to the 50. You need to make more than 30, right? You're 60 cent. You could take it one step further. But it's a pretty cool, easy strategy to use to figure out, is this offer that's coming in worth it, but very fast? Again, keep it simple. It's just an estimate of how many miles you think and how much time for that offer. And if you don't know, accept, pull over, use Google Maps, distance, what it is to the diner, then the diner to the customer drop off. How many miles? And only that, and the Google Maps is going to tell you how much time it is based on what traffic or the situation is at that point in time. Right then, you can be like, oh, yes or no. You have a cushion to reassign for a reason. DoorDash, 3 out of 10 offers. You can reassign 3 out of 10 offers and not worry about deactivation. And I would imagine GrubHub is pretty close to the same, if not more. I know drivers have reassigned way more than 3 out of 10, and they're still fine. Keep it at 30%, and you're good, right? That's pretty safe. They don't have a metric like DoorDash does, unfortunately. Now with Amazon Pay, that is fair pay. That is where we should be, and it's a great standard. Their systems were super efficient. Anyone that drove for Amazon Flex and did Amazon restaurants killed it, did good, and they were so sad that it went away. I'm losing $150 to $200 a week by not having Amazon restaurants because it was so easy and efficient to slip in with these other apps. on top of what I was making. An $800 week in 5 days, I was able to make $1,000 having Amazon restaurants. So let's hope that Amazon buys out GrubHub pretty soon. I believe by the end of this year, they will. I hope all this helped. I'm going to jump to the comments in just a second here. Those that don't care for the interaction with the audience and all that chit chat and all that, you can go ahead and jump off right now. I trust me, guarantee that you're missing out. This leads to a lot of great discussion. Have a great day. Be safe and work smarter. And the rest of you, let's see what we have in the comments here. So bear with me as I scroll up, kind of catch up a little bit. Let's see. So Dustin's driving. Yeah, you must always diversify and have multiple apps going to maximize your earnings for your time. Awesome. So perfect example. Dustin, he does Uber, rideshare, maybe Lyft too. I'm not 100%. Has his own YouTube channel. A lot of great information on there. So if you do rideshare as well, make sure to subscribe to his channel. Dustin is driving. And I'll have more stuff in the future with mixing rideshare and food delivery. It's too slow here in Arizona and Phoenix right now. It makes no sense for me to do rideshare with the food delivery. So I'm going to focus on what I can help you all with best. Judith says, today DoorDash paid me $4.10 for driving 8 miles to a closed merchant. Just entered info and a pick on the app and done. Paid as part of the dash. GrubHub never did that. Yeah, that's a phenomenal part. A great thing that DoorDash does. They at least give you half the offer. I know in a GrubHub situation, if they sent to a closed restaurant, some drivers, they will hit got order leaving and then contact customer care. So they at least got paid something. That's up to you, whether you do it or not. Some people, they could say it's maybe fraud. The fact that they don't pay us for half the work, sending us to a closed merchant when that's their job to know and take it off the app is a big deal. Some of those things, yeah, drivers should get paid. So it's awesome that DoorDash does pay you at least half for showing up and doing that part of the app. Charles, is that a beer in your cup? I don't drink beer. I hardly drink alcohol. I have bad guts and stomach. I'll get sick. I would have the BGs, man, if I had beer in that cup. Charles says, don't give DoorDash any credit. 80% of their offers are garbage. Yes, but a lot of their offers you can get done pretty fast. You know how many Cheesecake Factories offers we've been killing on lately? Quite a bit. Very fast. And I'll tell you what, in my market, DoorDash is turning around while GrubHub keeps going down. So I got to give credit where credit's due. As far as DoorDash, yeah, their $1 delivery pay sucks. It should be $3 minimum, and then adding to it, and a little bit less on some of these overpay, the overs. But anyhow, Survive says, Charles, every market is different. DoorDash has some good payouts in my market. It's one of my favorite apps. Yes, those that are newer markets, they're making $8 to $10 an offer with DoorDash. They're killing it. And then think about it, being efficient, being able to get 3 deliveries to 4 an hour on average compared to 2 to 3 on GrubHub equals more money. Especially with GrubHub having all these low payouts nowadays and long trips. Holy cow. TP, great analogy. I used to fish. I totally get it. I would think anyone that has never fished would get that, right? I mean, you got 1 line in, it just increased probability. You got 2 chance and at different baits, using the different baits as an example for the different gig apps, right? Because customers are attracted to different app for whatever reasons. Matt Dasher, exactly. Collectively, we have the power to force these companies to make change. If everyone rejects the trash, they will have to change to better compensate us. Yes. Hashtag LowPayNoWay. The more these premier drivers that get on board with us and become the majority, we have an opportunity to change all this and rewrite it ourselves without legislation, without the government stepping in, without some unions that don't care about drivers. We need drivers. Drivers making the change, forcing the change through choices. Work smarter. Hashtag LowPayNoWay. Love it. So Matt Dasher, TP says, yeah, instant rejecting everything under $10. Now, I want to ask you, why is it $10 for you and why is it instant reject? Now, I know for me that I average 2 an hour and I need to make at least 25. $10 doesn't even really get me to 25 if I'm only getting 2. That's why I'm a lot higher. But I will go lower than 10 when it's a merchant that I know I can get done in 10 to 20 minutes for $8. Why? 3 of those an hour, I'm making $24. That's pretty close. And those are really good fillers a lot of times in some of these other offers. Think about it. You picked it up, you accepted it, you're done with it within 15 minutes. You're right back to the next offer, accepting more. If not beforehand, because GrubHub will send you offers before you've dropped that one off. Keep that in mind that even though you have a $10 minimum, everything is situational. Think about that for a little bit. Jesse says, what is your average per hour and how many miles do you travel per peak hours? That's tough. It kind of varies. I'd really have to go back and look week by week. I track everything as far as mileage, time. I can answer any one of those questions. I'm anywhere from $1.50 to $2 per mile on average. And in my dollar per hour is right around 25 per hour right now. When it's busier, when it's not so slow, I'm right around 30 per hour. So 25 to 30 per hour is where I fluctuate as far as my dollar per hour. And again, I'm more focused on dollar per mile because I'm using my vehicle and running to the ground. I just recently had to replace 2 motor mounts, cost me over $700. How many of you have $700 in your bank to go do a car fix that comes up out of nowhere? Just after that, I had to replace brakes. That was over $300, big repairs, and there's more coming. Think about that. A lot of people don't have that money in the bank when that stuff happens, and the emergencies do happen. RJ Game Master says, I've accepted 15 plus per hour. Sometimes I had to accept $6 for 2 miles. I didn't get any complaints about the feed today. I'm sorry about starting late. The issue is it's not giving me enough bit rate, which affects the stream. Yesterday, I had 5 minutes of video and streaming. It wasn't even, you couldn't even see what I was talking about on the board. If I was watching the video, I would have tuned out in the first 30 seconds. I don't blame anyone else that did. So thank you for all those that did tune in today and stayed on. Let's see. I'll answer a couple more questions before I hop off here. I just want to get a chance to go on and redo the video so everyone could see the board and what I was talking about and understand this hashtag low pay, the 30, 40, 50 rule, and rejecting offers to force change. Let's see. Jesse says on DoorDash, if you say you're close to customer, if customer cancels order, you can get full pay. Nice. That's a good thing to know. But they will know if you're at the restaurant. So more information on that. Anyhow, thanks everyone that did tune in. For those who are watching the replay and made it all the way to the end, thank you. You caught some good stuff. As always, work smarter and hashtag low pay, no way. Have a great day.